Good morning, namaste, or good evening, good day, whenever you happen to be watching this, which most of you will be watching this at another time. So we're at our final class for this particular series, which is amazing. Time goes by so fast. And we are still on the theme of peace. So last week we were looking at peace in how perhaps you or what you are doing, what are the habits or the routines that you have to cultivate peace in your life. And also looking at the things that aggravated you, that brought disharmony, that took peace away. So looking at what they are in your life to try and minimize, choose differently. Perhaps it's a person that aggravates you. You'd be seeing that person that much, those sort of things. So ways that we can look at that really begin to cultivate a more peaceful environment for ourselves. So this week, going a little deeper into the idea of bringing peace into your life is really beginning to look at our own decision-making. Actually, our decisions that we make can either cause us peace or disharmony in our mind, or peace and disharmony in our relationships, or peace and disharmony in our work environment or home environment. So our words and our actions are really the vehicle to disharmony or peace. Really simplified. When you think about it, that is it. And what preludes all of that is our thoughts. So this week, I am suggesting that you take a little deeper dive into what your thinking is like. What are your background thoughts like? Are they supporting you in choosing more peaceful approaches, more peaceful practices, more peaceful actions? Even in passion, even in a place where you really want to stand for something? Or are your thoughts causing you worry, anxiety? Perhaps there's anger or wanting to revenge, or, jealousy, or any of these things. They're all aggravating towards our peace. I'm not suggesting that, I realize that actually I'm really pissed off about that person and I want to get them back. That you don't think, that's naughty, so I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't think like that. It's not the way. That's suppression. Witnessing is the foundation practice that allows us to beautifully change any of our behaviors that are no longer serving us for a greater good. Witnessing, watching, being aware. If you can watch yourself and your own insanity, then it tends to slip away. This is a big, big, big subject, right? Not going deeply into it, but just to say, it's just about creating awareness as the foundation for any change that may be necessary for you to acquire more peace in your life. The other thing is, if you're not really 100% sure about your values in life, what are your highest ranking values? This is a really, really, really helpful thing to know for your ability to choose a little bit more in alignment with where you are, even when we're acting from a place of passion, something that is, really like strong in us, that we feel this needs to happen, we need this change, we need this or that, or I need this or that, or whatever. But if we can do it in alignment to our values, that is going to make it a lot more of a peaceful process, particularly for your inner churning, your inner peace, which is what you radiate out to everybody else. So that's the place we really want to start. Okay, so we're going to start with some peace cultivating breath work. So sit comfortably in a cross-leg position if you can. Have your right leg cross over the front. You might like a little something to sit on. Try and have your back nice and upright and your butt cheeks nice and even. Relax your arms, your shoulders. Allow the gaze to become downward and soft, or they can close down. And just come to the breath. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and sighing it out through the mouth, perhaps a couple of times to really settle. If you're doing this in the morning, you probably need less of those than if you're doing it later in the day. We're going to just do some left and right breathing patterns. So we're balancing our body, balancing our masculine and feminine energies. So this passion can be very much a masculine doing sort of energy. And the peace is more of a feminine energy, more relaxed, peaceful, intuitive. Yeah, flow. So we're going to just simply take our hand like this with the thumb poking out with the flat hand everywhere else. Place your forefinger onto your third eye and your thumb just in the, I don't know what this bit is called, in between the nostril. We're going to close the left nostril and breathe in through the right. And then we're going to close the right nostril and breathe out through the left. And we repeat. Close the left, breathe in through the right. Close the right, breathe out through the left. And repeat. Close the left, breathe in through the right. Close the right, breathe out through the left. And I'd like you to do 3 more of these in your own time. And then when you're done there, we're closing the right nostril and breathing in through the left. Close the left nostril, breathe out through the right. And continue, close the right, inhale left. Close the left, exhale right. Close the right, inhale left. Close the left, exhale right. And continue for another 3 rounds on your own. Placing your hand back down on your knee when you're ready. Taking 3 deep breaths in through both nostrils, down the spine, into the tail, and back up on the exhale. Exhale all the way up to the crown. And inhale from the crown back down to the tail. And repeat 1 more time on your own. We were meant to cross the legs for the other half of the breathing, but I forgot. Okay, so I'd like you to shake the legs out if you need to. And we just come onto our hands and knees. Once you're on your hands and, oh, I forgot to turn the lights on. I was wondering why it looks so dark here. You can shake out your ankles a couple of times. And then just prepare for a couple of really slow rounds in cat-cow. So take an inhale, and as you exhale, just drop the head and tail rounding through the spine. Press the floor away from you and just hold there for a moment. And as you really press the hands and the knees into the floor and away from each other, just let the head completely drop and release. And if you like, you can even swing your chin from side to side a couple of times. And then as you're ready, inhaling to roll up. Roll the sit bones up, lift your chest and chin. Open your heart, pull the sit bones back towards the heels as you press the hands into the floor and towards your knees to hold everything together. And then exhale. Push back down, release the head and tail. Hands and knees pressing in and slightly away from each other, perhaps. And then inhale, pressing in to the floor, rolling the sit bones up, lifting chest and chin. A little perhaps wag of the tail here. And then just releasing into neutral. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, begin to walk over to your left-hand side. And then just continue to walk back to the center and then all the way over to the right-hand side. And just continue to walk from side to side for a couple of rounds. Finishing on the right-hand side. And coming back to the center. Bringing your big toes together and your knees apart. Just drop the buttocks down to the heels. If you need, you can stack your hands or fists one on top of the other and place the forehead on them, or just allow the forehead to come to the earth. Taking a couple of deep breaths there. And then we bring our hands into prayer, overhead on the floor. And we inhale and lift the hands over our head to our neck, to our spine. And exhale back down. And just repeat that another 2 times. Inhaling up. Exhale, releasing down. And as we come back up, we're just going to hold there for a moment. Begin to press the elbows into the floor and towards the top of your mat. So we can begin to drop the upper arms, underarms, and heart to the earth. Bringing your heart and your forehead to the earth is a peaceful practice. Release the hands so they just come over the head and rotate to the back of the fingers, to the heel of the hands, to the back of the fingers, to the heel of the hands. So we're rotating our wrists and hands around each other. Change the direction after you've done 3 or 4. And then just placing the hands back down to the earth. They can come shoulder distance, and then we're going to walk the hands over to the left-hand side and just take a breath there. Reach the hands and press them into the floor. Pull back into that right hip. Take a breath into the right ribs. Use an exhale to come back to the center. Take an inhale there and use the exhalation to come over to the right-hand side. Make yourself comfortable and then begin to press particularly the left hand into the floor and pull back all the way to that left hip. Breathe a deep breath into the left ribs. Take another inhale and use the exhale to come back to the center.
As you're ready, begin to walk or slide your hands to your knees.
And then come up so you can tuck the toes under and lift the knees off the floor. I'm just going to take my socks off at this point. So I think it's a good idea, if you have socks on, to maybe get rid of them at this point. It was a bit cool this morning. Have the knees nice and wide and see if you can lift the heels high, and in that lifting of the heels, that lifting of the lower belly, so you can begin to bring your hands into prayer at the heart center. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit of wobbliness. Take a nice deep breath there. And as you exhale, just let the hands back down to the earth, and then inhale to lift the hips high, drop the heels down, and release the head in a full fold here. Soften the knees as much as you need to, and we find ourselves in Tanasana. Take a half lift on the inhale, the hands can right up the legs. We might be able to straighten the legs a little bit more and lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, soften the knees as you release the body over the thighs, crown to the floor. And again, inhale, half lift. Right up the legs a little, straighten them, straighten the back. And exhale to fold, soften the knees as much as you need to. Release and relax completely. Last round, inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold again. And as you fold, swing to the left. And then swing to the right. Just do a little bit of finger painting. Or if you prefer, you can lock your hands into your elbows. And just hang, swinging from side to side there. Coming back to the center as you feel ready. Releasing the hands if they're up. And then bending the knees really deeply. And press the feet into the floor. Let the head and arms hang and press yourself up. Keeping the knees bent as the shoulders arrive over the hips, and then continue with it. Perhaps another inhale as the hands come up and over the head. As we exhale, we straighten the knees and bring the hands to the heart. And then inhale, bend the knees, arms rise over the head again. And as we exhale, open your wings wide, turn to look to the right, and just have the arms at shoulder height, sorry. Inhale, and you can straighten the legs somewhat or keep the knees bent as the arms come back over the head, and we come back to the center, and then exhale over to the left-hand side. Widen your wings. Try and keep the hips in the center. Inhale. Back to the center, exhale, open your wings to the right. And then inhale, back to the center, hips remain to the front as we exhale and turn a little to the left. Hips remaining frontal. Inhale, straighten the legs, hands come up and over. And exhale as we draw the hands back to the heart. Take a breath there. Just relax anything that needs relaxing. You might need to release tension out of the neck or shoulders. I've got some pillow issues going on. Again, haven't had that for a while. My neck is not comfortable. We're going to come into our salutes that we did last week. So with the gratitude salutes or the peace salutes. So if you weren't here last week and you haven't caught up, then this may be new, but last week we did more of them. This week we're just going to do 3 rounds. So you might like to bring your hands to your heart if they've left there, and just think of a dedication, a prayer, an intention, or something that you're grateful for that you would like to offer to the salutes. And then we inhale and reach the arms forward and up. Open your heart and your gaze to the sky. Exhale as we fold, arms widen perhaps, and soften the knees as much as you need to. Completely release over the thighs. Half lift, and as we do, we begin to walk all the way
to the top of our mat with our hands. So we come into plank. And as we exhale, drop the knees and lower yourself down to the earth. Take an inhale as the arms come out to the sides and then over your head in prayer. Untuck the toes, let the heels fall apart, and we just lay on the earth in gratitude or in prayer. Hands come in under the shoulders, and an inhale as we lift into a back bend of your choice. And as we exhale, we tuck the toes back under and come back into downward facing dog. We inhale all the way, hands back to the feet with a little half lift at the end. And we exhale into a full fold as we soften the knees and release the head. Rolling up, if you like. Little ragdoll style, pressing the feet into the floor, keep the knees bent if you like, hands up overhead. And as we exhale, straighten the legs, hands to the forehead and then to the heart. And we repeat, inhale, arms forward and up. Open your gaze and your heart to the sky. Exhale to fold, softening the knees as much as you need to, releasing yourself over your thighs. As we half lift, we begin to walk our hands to the top of the mat. And as we exhale, drop the knees and then your chest down to the earth. We inhale and the hands come out to the sides and overhead on the floor. And we exhale to let everything soften and relax as we rest on the body of the earth in prayer or gratitude. Inhale as you bring the hands in under your shoulders, straighten the feet and in your back bend. And as you exhale, tuck the toes, come onto your knees and back into downward facing dog. Take an inhale as you walk your hands back to your feet and half lift as we finish. The exhale as we completely fold over the thighs, release the head. Bending the knees, roll up like a ragdoll, keeping them bent as the hands come up and over the head. And as we exhale, hands to the forehead and then the heart and the legs straighten. Inhale, hands out and up, bending the knees if you like. Exhale, arms wide, folding over our thighs, releasing completely. Half lift on the inhalation and begin to walk all the way to the top of your mat. If you like, you can keep the knees off the floor this time as you offer your strength to the earth. Releasing the body completely, inhale, arms out and overhead. Exhale, full surrender, full peace. In prayer and dedication, and gratitude. And as you're ready, the hands come in under the shoulders, and we inhale into our back bend. And we exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Take the next inhale as we walk the hands to the feet with a little half lift at the end. And we exhale as we fold and surrender. And you can come up like a rag doll, or you can come up scooping upward from the belly with a flat back, all the way up and over, hands meet overhead. We can watch and bring the hands down to the third eye, to the lips, and then to the heart. And just take a moment to let that practice absorb in. Notice your mind, peace that may be cultivated through this practice. It's a very, very peaceful salute.
My teacher, Shiva Ray, would say that prostration was where the salute to the sun actually has evolved from. So coming up your way, hands out to the sides or through the center. You can bend the knees or not if you like. Inhale. And as we exhale, folding once again over our thighs. Releasing completely. You might like a little play with the shoulders, with the neck, just momentarily. And then inhale, begin to walk the hands, this time just into downward facing dog. Walk that right foot in just a little bit. And we're going to inhale, lift the left legs up into the sky. And as you exhale, just draw it back in, knee to nose. And inhale, lift once again, stroke the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift and hold there. Rotate your ankle just a couple of times in each direction. And then bend your knee and straighten the leg, and bend the knee and straighten the leg. And one more time. And then we're going to bend the knee and then lift the thigh away from the floor to open up that hip. To open up that left hip. Take one more breath there, inhaling. And as we exhale, we bring that left foot all the way through to the left hand. I'm just going to change my angle so you can see better. And here we are in a runner's lunge. We're going to inhale, bend that back knee, straighten the front leg. And as we exhale, we're going to let that knee fall out to the side as we come forward. Kick back into the back heel and drop your hips towards the earth and allow that left knee to come out to the outer side of your arm. And then inhale, lift the hips up, bend that back knee as you straighten the front leg. Maybe nose to knee. And then exhale, straighten the back leg and let the front knee fall out to the left-hand side again. And then inhale, lift the hips, pull back, bend the back leg, bend the back knee, straighten the front, and then exhale, bend the front knee and let it come out to the left-hand side, out to the outer edge of your arm. And then inhale, pull back, this time exhale, straight forward. Just to bring in back into the runner's lunge. Bring that back foot a little in. So we can inhale and rise into high lunge. Hands meet overhead. And exhale, just dip in, just sit in. And then if you can really be firm in the feet, really anchor them in or root them into the earth and see if you can slingshot your heart through your arms. Keep the tail as long as you can to keep out of the lower back so we really get the openness in the thoracic, and see if you can look upward. Take one more breath there, and as you exhale, release the hands down, come out of the depth of your pose. Hands can come to the hips, and we're going to step that back foot forward and out just a tiny bit. So what we want here is our feet, our heels to be at our hip distance, okay? And then we've got a couple of options here. You can just grab hold of your wrists or your elbows, or you can bring your hands into reverse prayer. We're going to straighten the front leg, really reach back into that back foot and lift the arch of the foot if you can, and begin to lift from your feet into your belly, from your belly into solar plexus, from solar plexus into your heart. And then the chin lifts with a smile on your face. And as we exhale, we're going to come forward, kicking that front hip back, pulling it back, and being very grounded in the back foot, making any little adjustments you need to as you go. And if this is too strong, then you can release your hands to the floor, or you can fold all the way. It's quite a strong pose for what warm-ups we've done. So soften the front knee if you need to, otherwise it can be straight. And we're here, hands can be to the floor if they need to be. And then we're gonna
Bend the front knee and scoop up a little bit here. And just turn our feet so they come to the length of our mat, so they're both facing in the same direction. Change our hands so we interlace. And then inhale, lift from your feet, from the arch of your feet, all the way into your belly, belly into solar plexus into heart, chin lifts, gaze lifts, and then we fold over. Press those feet into the floor. Keep the lifting of the arch as you root down through the feet, and just allow yourself to come forward into this variation of Prasarita Padottanasana. So just allowing the shoulders a little bit of time. You can have a little tiny tick-tock of the body from side to side, just to help the legs open up and the hips relax. And also we want the shoulders to try and relax. Release a little bit more. Then we're going to inhale with a half lift, so the hands drop back to the buttocks. Let them ride down the legs, and we're going to turn all the way to the back of the mat. So our right foot is a 90-degree angle, and the left foot is the heel is lifted, and we're back in our lunge. So as you take an exhale, drop back into your runner's lunge. The back knee off the floor. Of course, you could drop that back knee if this is too intense for you. And then we're going to inhale and pull back, bending that back knee, straightening the front leg, coiling nose towards the knee, and then exhale. Let that right knee fall out to the side as you drop your hips forward and down. And then inhale, lift the hips, begin to pull back, bend that back knee, straighten the front, curl in, exhale, straighten the back leg. Let that right knee fall out to the outer edge of the right arm. Bring the hips forward and down. And then inhale, pull back, bend the back knee, straighten the front leg. And then exhale, coming forward, let that knee fall out to the side. Kick into the back heel. Keep that back thigh away from the floor as you drop the hips towards the floor. Bit tricky, I know. And then inhale, pull back, and exhale, come through the center. So the knee is just in your lunge again. We're going to then just hop that back foot in and out a little, so our heels are in line with our hips. And we're going to press in all the way so we can come up into, did we do the lunge? We did the lunge, sorry. So we're doing the high lunge, so you can actually keep your foot where it is, or you can come back with the heel lifted as we did before and come into the high lunge. So we want to root down with our feet. We want to keep the tail long and that lower belly lifting in and up. Reach into your hands and see if you can slingshot your heart through your shoulders. And with all of that grounding, and lifting at the same time, can you lift your gaze? One breath there. It's a little bit of a balance trick, right? Who needs one leg postures for balance work? And then exhale, bring the hands back to the hips, keep in the belly center, and then step. This is where we step back for. Back in a little and out a little, towards, in and out. Does that make even any sense? I'm sure it does. I think it's better on the other side. So here you have the choices to grab hold of your wrists, to grab hold of your elbows, or to come into reverse prayer. Reverse prayer could be down at the lower back, up the thoracic, closer to the heart, wherever it really sits comfortably. We straighten that front leg. Root down through the feet, and in particular, you want to root down through that back foot. At the same time, lift the arch, particularly of that back foot.
And then we lift up from the arch of that back foot into the belly, belly into solar plexus, then into the heart, then the chin lifts, the gaze lifts, and then we suck that lower belly in as we fold forward. Pull the front right hip back, back, back. And then we come maybe just halfway, and that's enough. And then you want to put your hands on some blocks or the floor, or you continue on another breath. Exhale, folding all the way to wherever it's possible. Again, you could have the hands on the floor or some blocks, or you could have that front knee soft, a little bent. Just release, release, release. Now we're going to turn again. Oh no, we're going to half lift. We're going to lift up, right? That's how we do. We're just going to lift up on an inhale. And then turn again those feet into the center. So both the toes are facing the same direction. And then opposite interlace. So if your left finger normally is comfortable there, we want the right finger, or vice versa. Then you can bend the knees, really ground down through the body, and from that lifting in the arch of the feet into the belly, into the heart, and then open up, lift up, and exhale to fold back down. Keep those legs and feet nicely engaged. We're really trying to almost roll out to the edges of the feet as we root down through the ball of the big toe, the inner heel. Breathing here. This time you might like a little bit more of a pronounced sway. Perhaps that's more available to you now. If you don't like the sway, don't do it. It's just trying to release also through the shoulders. You might really like to try and focus on that. Feel into your body, give it what it needs. And then we do the half lift and drop the arms to the buttocks and then let them ride down the back of the legs. And then we come back, hands come to the front of the mat, to that left foot, and we turn everything back out. So we're now back into our runner's lunge on the left-hand side, the left foot. As you're ready, step back into downward facing dog. Just stretch it out there. Be in peace. One more breath as you lengthen from your hands to your hips and from your hips to your heels. And then lift the heels and drop the knees. Bring them together. And then untuck the toes and come into child's pose with the hands perhaps alongside the feet, or you could stack them underneath your forehead if you can't comfortably reach the floor with your forehead. 3 deep breaths, and if you like, Ujjayi breathing. Try and relax everything you have here. On an inhale, rising up. Hands come just on their fingertips behind the feet, on the outer edges of your hips behind. And inhale, rise up from the belly into the heart. And expose your heart to the sky. And let your eyes lift so as if they're gazing at the rising sun. And then as you exhale or taking an exhale, just coil back down. So dropping the chin in, rounding a little. Bringing the hands back into cat. Shake out your ankles. A little roll out if you need them. Tuck the toes. Step back into downward facing dog. So this time we're going to walk the left foot into the center just a little bit.
And inhale, lift the right leg up high. And exhale, draw it into the center, knee to nose. Inhale, rise with the right leg. Exhale, coil in. And inhale, lift. And as you lift, just hold there, rotate the ankle 2 or 3 times in one direction and then the other. And then bend the knee and straighten the foot. Bend the knee and straighten the foot. Bend the knee, hold it there, lift the thigh up away from the floor and open that hip up. Take a breath. And then we're going to bring that foot, rather than bring the right foot to the right hand, we're going to bring the right foot to the left hand, if that's possible. And I really wish I'd said before you might need a blanket or a cushion. But here we are with the right foot towards the left hand. So we're like crossing the upper thighs. And then seeing if we can drop that right knee to the right hand. You might like to pull back just once or twice, dropping the knee towards the right wrist. So as you can see where we're going with this, if you can drop both knees to the floor. And then begin to walk that back left leg away. So we drop the right buttock to the floor. If you cannot make the right buttock to the floor, the right hip, then you get a blanket or a cushion or a block and you place it underneath there. But what we do want to do is have the hips square to the front, not like lifted here, right? This is not the pose. We want the hips to be even, and that's why you might need something under here in order to keep those hips moving. All right, so once you've got comfortable and settled, please look back at that back leg, have the foot flat to the floor, the top of the foot, and see if you can keep the heel and the toes in line with the hip, so everything, we're not falling out. Sometimes that's not possible. I understand different body types is okay, but that's what we aim for. And then as you press that back foot to the floor, begin to pull the energy up into the chest, into the crown. Breathing here. Awakening this little back bend here to really open the heart, release the tension, release the energy. And then as you're ready, you can use an exhalation to just come down to your elbows. To take a moment there. And here it can be a little more intense for the hip itself. So that right hip, you might need to take a couple of deep breaths in. If this is really easy for you and you want to slide all the way down into the full relaxed Cultivating, then you can. Otherwise, you can just hold here and breathe deeply and work on it. Or you could drop your hands or your fists and place the forehead down on that. Deep breaths into the hip. Or anywhere else you feel you might need the support. And then we inhale to gently push out of there again, coming out. Roll onto your bum. So we're going to come and sit. So that left heel is in the groin area towards the pubic bone. The left leg, oh dear, is just stretching out. And left hand onto the leg or knee, or it could be done on the inside or even on the outside. So take what you need. You're going to take the right hand, take an inhale as it lifts up, and as we exhale, fold over. You could just let that arm follow all the way through across the face and down to the floor, and then inhale, we rise again. And as we exhale, we lean to the left and that right arm comes across and down again. And then we inhale, arm reaches out. And exhale as we lean back in, and this time holding there for a moment. Breathing into the right side of the body, being active in that left leg, trying to keep the heart open and exposed. And the arm reaching across and over. And as we exhale, just releasing the arm back down, coming to sit up and taking that left leg with us and taking it across to the other side, if you can, of that right thigh. And if this is too much for you, you can straighten that right leg out here. Otherwise, we're in the full bind of Marichyasana. The right hand comes and hugs the left knee. And as we begin to squeeze that thigh back into the body, we lengthen up through the spine. And we take an exhalation to look over that left shoulder. And in this moment, just try and relax everything, find the peace here. There will be some effort required, but I always find in twisting, it's more about letting go and relaxing than it is about doing. So see what you can let go and relax without losing the form, the shape, the integrity. One more breath there. And as you exhale, release. It is a flow class, so we're not holding these postures very long, just a couple of breaths. So that left leg is going to come all the way back out. We're going to come back onto or into our pigeon pose, Kapotasana. And then we flatten those hands into the floor in preparation to step back into downward facing dog. So you can press into the hands, tuck the back left toes back under, lift up, round up, and then step back with that right leg. Stretching out, yummy. And then we're going to lift the right leg again. We're going to inhale and lift the right leg, bend the knee, lift the thigh, open the hip up. And then exhale, just release that right foot down to the left. And then we're going to inhale and lift the left leg up into the sky, bend the knee and open the hip. So lift the thigh away from the floor. Take one breath there. And then as you exhale, coiling in, bringing that left foot to the right hand. See if we can bring it to the right hand. So we're crisscrossing over our upper thighs, a little awkward. You might need blocks under the hands, could have been useful. And then we exhale and drop the left knee, right knee. No, we're dropping the left knee to the left wrist, correct. Inhale, straighten it back out, lift out of there. Exhale, left knee to left wrist. Inhale, pull back out. And exhale, left knee to left wrist. And if you can, drop the back knee to the floor. Begin to walk that back foot away from you so you can drop your left thigh either to a blanket, a block, a cushion, or the floor. And then just get comfortable. So your hips are even. And once that's right for you, you've got that, then we try and sit up. We press that back foot into the floor, the top of the back foot into the floor, and press as we open our whole front body and open our hearts, lift our gaze. And even in this dynamisy, is that a word? In this dynamisy of the pose, we can find a sense of peace. The pigeon pose is a peaceful pose, even though actually it's very dramatic, particularly its full expression. And then we can slowly on an exhale, perhaps come down onto your elbows. Just taking a couple of breaths, maybe a little rock in the hips if you need it. Maybe you like to stack the hands or the fists, or maybe you just like to come all the way down to the floor. Breathe into the hip, breathe into the buttock muscle. And then as you're ready, coming back up, pressing up, walking your way back. I'm going to change my position so you can see me. And then we're simply going to fall out. So drop back. So we come onto the buttocks. And straighten that right leg out. Tuck the left heel in. Get comfortable. If you need any extra support, please take it. Right hand onto the leg or on either side of the floor. And then the inhale as the left arm comes up. And as we exhale over, yum, take the arm across the face and down to the floor. And inhale to rise again. And exhale. Down and across, inhale. Lifting. Exhale as we slide the arm down towards the floor. Let's just hold there for a moment. However you need to be is okay. So you can be comfortable and in peace. Breathe into those left ribs. One more breath. Use the inhalation to lift your way out of there, and the exhalation to bring that right leg across over the left. Make the adjustments that you need so you can be comfortable. Wrap the left arm around that right thigh. Inhale as you lengthen up through the spine, hug the thigh in, and as you exhale, turning to look over that right shoulder. Remember, the twisting is really an act of surrender, softening. Close the eyes, breathe deep. Take one more inhale, lengthen up through the spine. And as you exhale, just slowly unravel. And from here, I want you just to release the right leg out and then the left leg. And we come into our Dandasana Pose here, just straight leg. Hands can be on the thighs as we take an inhale. Begin to soften the knees, lift them up and away from the floor. So you can lift up through the spine more clearly. And then as you exhale, just folding over those thighs. Letting the hands slip under the thighs, under the knees, or towards the feet, to the feet. 3 deep breaths there. You might like to swing the chin from side to side while you're here. And then any other little wriggling or movement. And then we simply inhale and slowly come up, Keeping the eyes closed if you can. And all we need to do here, unless you need to put on some warm clothing or get a blanket, is to widen the feet away from each other towards the corners of your mat. And simply lay your body down. The head may like a little something in support or not. And then the arms can just come out to either side. So the flesh of the buttocks goes down towards the heels and the shoulder blades wriggle in towards each other. And then we just allow everything to begin to relax and spread. Taking a few deep and conscious breaths and extend your exhalations. And if you like, you can extend them out slowly through the mouth. Each time you do an extended exhalation, just allow the whole body to begin to melt, to release. to drift away. Let your whole body lay in peace. Find the peace in the rhythm of your breath. Find the peace in the silence between the sounds. Let the peace now soak into the cells of your body. And then slowly you can gently deepen the breath. You can perhaps initiate some movement through the fingers, toes, the ankles and wrists. And simply roll on to perhaps your right side, but any comfortable uninjured side. Taking some peaceful breaths there. Before you come to sit up in a comfortable seated posture. And we're going to do our prayer. So if you're on the phone, you might want to turn that so you can read it. If you would like to join me, I'm doing the St. Francis of Assisi prayer, peace prayer. So bringing your hands to your heart. Bringing your hands to your heart. Feeling into your body and breath. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy.
O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving that we receive, it is in the pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in the dying that we are born to eternal life. So, letting the prayer soak in, letting it influence your day, influence your decision making, and influence your inner bhava, your inner peace. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all for joining me on this beautiful journey. This subject means a lot to me, and I've really enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd love to hear if it's been of any use to you. And yeah, any insights or anything that you've gained. Do we do this again? I don't know. So let me know where you stand with things. Have a beautiful day and week. Namaste.